Your problem card is the white square, which, among other things, represents sort of a default or a status quo. This may be a sign that you've been putting all your effort into surviving, but not thriving. Which, all things considered is fair. We've all been in survival mode for, years now? But the human condition craves growth, change, challenge. Which brings us to the lemonade card in the short-term solution slot. They say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But what are you supposed to do with a bunch of lemonade if you're not particularly thirsty? But just because you're thirsty doesn't mean other people aren't. I believe this is a sign to take what life has given you and give it back to life. Better. And the long-term solution card is Mumford, holding an alligator. I believe this ties in with the lemonade card. When you think of magicians, you think of them pulling a rabbit, not an alligator. You have within you the potential to give the world an unexpected and sweet surprise. All you gotta do is think outside the box. The Sesamerot has spoken. The problem card is a great pentagon, the sign of intriguing mysteries. I think it's like that song, You Wanna Know What Love Is? That's a song from when I was a kid. Moving on. The short-term solution is snuffy with a mop. One thing I like to say is that trauma is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. I believe this is a sign to make sure that you have prepared yourself in your personal space. Cleaned up after the previous trauma as best you could. If that problem's been addressed, then you're ready to move on. Now, the long-term solution is the 8 of bats. Now, bats have gained kind of a spooky reputation, thanks mostly to the media. And yeah, it's true, there's a few examples of high-profile bats doing terrible things. There was that one major event that happened recently. What was it called? Oh yeah, the Justice League movie. The thing is, statistically speaking, and taken as a whole, most bats are harmless. It's not too difficult at all to take precautions against the few that are harmful. Keep that in mind and prepare accordingly. The Sesamerot has spoken. Oh my God, why do you do this to me, Sesamerot? Look, I have just accepted that some people are just never going to believe these are actual draws. And trust me, if I didn't just do this draw myself, I would be right there with you. But the Sesamerot literally just created the commercials for the Tootsie Roll Pops. I have officially decided that Cookie Monster is the trickster god of the Sesamerot. Well, gee, problem card, how many licks does it take to get to the center of your sweet circular treat?
A 1, a 2,
Crunch.
3.
I swear if I have another drawing that works this well. Whew, oh boy. Anyway, the Sesamerot has spoken. Sesamerot, what about some lottery numbers? Number, go fly a kite. Love you too, Sesamerot. Smart ass. I believe the problem in short-term slots are showing us a sign of progression. The 17 of ladybugs leading into the 6 of birds. Now, I do try to avoid blatant social commentary in these videos, but the fact that the bluebird is a symbol of a very specific social media platform cannot be ignored. Neither can we ignore that birds eat bugs. This is why I feel finding your niche is important. Because what is it the birds are eating up? Everything that's sort of the same as everything else. So to avoid disappearing down the throat of social media, it's best to find something that nobody else is doing. But how do we do that? Now, the watch in the long-term slot can certainly represent another social media platform. Like, I don't know, MySpace maybe? I'll let you figure it out. However, the watch is also a sign of time, patience, and effort. That means it's not just enough to put original thought into it. You gotta put in your time, show your dedication. And in that, gain the valuable experience you need to forge your path. The Sesamerot has spoken. Green rhombus is often a symbol of introspective and looking out for your best interests, which is why it's unusual to me that it is in the problem slot for you. I take this as a sign that your facts are correct, but you need to rethink how you look at them. Let's look to the full Cookie Monster in the short-term slot. For most people, trying to eat an entire jar of cookies is a path to a tummy ache. But look at Cookie Monster's face. He's like he's born for this challenge. I believe this is a sign that what you have here is what I like to call a problem we looked forward to having. And your concern that you might be in over your head is exactly what makes this a good opportunity for you in the first place. Now let's look to the 6 of birdseeds. Now I'm just going to take a wild guess and say neither you nor Cookie Monster eat birdseed. This is clearly sustenance designed for somebody else. And that, I believe, is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck in this opportunity. You have the potential to spark the seed of thought in so many other people who desperately need it. Good luck to you. The Sesamerot has spoken. Problem card slot is occupied by the small card. Likely a sign that this is a small concern, and the outcome either way is probably not going to shatter the multiverse, Now, I feel the short-term slot is a pretty clear indicator of Daily Bugle. But the Sesamerot and I have been roommates for a while now, so I have a feeling there's a little more to this. And I believe that card was selected because of its connection to the word save in your question. See, the long-term slot is occupied by the low Super Grover. Super Grover only touches ground when there is a problem to solve. So taken as a whole, I read it like this. You are currently in a place with few needs and concerns, but you will not always be in that place. And so that money you have saved may serve you well when the need arises. So if you find that you are in a place where you can save money for fun things, consider squirreling a portion of that away into a sort of emergency fund, a little nest egg, if you will. Get Super Grover some frequent flyer miles. Good fortune to you. The Sesamerot has spoken. Your problem is represented by the pull card. I believe at the root of this problem is you doing all the labor. And your concern for what you stand to lose pairs well with the short-term solution card, which is the 16 of feathers. I mean, why would Big Bird shed so many feathers, right? I believe this to be a sign that you are sacrificing your personal health and well-being for the sake of this issue. It may be time to ask a difficult question. Is the value you gain from this situation equal or greater to that which you lose for having it? Let's look to the Nine of Waters in the long-term slot. There is no more pure symbol of your basic needs than water. A sign that your health and your needs must take precedence in this equation. A thing that cannot happen if you allow this violation of trust to stand as a precedent. An honest conversation may lead to a healthy environment for everyone. But remember, no matter what, your health and safety comes first. The Sesamerot has spoken. Your problem card is the white square. This is a card I like to think of as the box you should think outside of. It seems like you're looking for ways to break from the norm, so let's explore a couple. Short-term solution is Oscar holding the sandwich. I believe this is assigned to explore savory ingredients. Oh, do you know what my partner likes? Pierogies. They use like cheese, egg, salmon. So good. Plus, if you look into local produce in your area, you can get your hands on some terrific flavors at low cost. Now, there's an igloo in the long-term slot. My mind's going in two directions on that one. The first is to plan ahead for summer when people are seeking cooler, more refreshing flavors. But here's another one that occurs to me, and I ain't never seen it before. What if you could find an interesting new take on mint? Like, yeah, I know everybody does chocolate mint, right? But have you ever had mint with almond before? Or like mint and citrus? Or the entire thing could just be telling you to make ice cream sandwiches. In any case, the Sesamerot has spoken. The problem card is the one of duckies. Perhaps an acknowledgement that while entertainment has been brought to many thanks to the Sesamerot, we seek to know which individual is filled with the most entertainment. The short-term solution is pie. Now, there's many things to enjoy about a pie. But you know who I bet really loves pie? The people who make pie. Because they get to enjoy the flavor of pie same as everyone else. But they also get the joy of knowing they can make more pie. So I believe in the short term it's a tie between the Sesamerot and myself. Now let's look to the long-term solution, the lemonade card. Now, I'm sure Zoe would love everybody to enjoy her lemonade. However, I think there's a strong argument that could be made that the people who love Zoe's lemonade have the incentive to help her make more lemonade. And she has provided a helpful sign of how to make that happen. Now, I don't sell lemonade. But if you do like what I'm making over here, then you can check out my own little lemonade stand over here. The Sesamerot has spoken. In the problem slot is the yo-yo. So a stringed instrument that takes some practice to get good at. It takes a lot of time and dedication to get good at yo-yo tricks. Of course, if you're not really passionate about yo-yo tricks, it's not time well spent. And that's probably why it's in the problem card slot. Now, I think the purple oval and the 13 of macaroons are sort of related in this reading. Purple is a color of expressing your thoughts and feelings, and an oval is a representation of the cycle of life, making the purple oval the raw ingot of creative expression, and sharing a similar shape to the macaroons. But notice how there's all different kinds of macaroons. There ain't just one kind. So I think the message is this. There are indeed many benefits to creative expression, especially if you get good enough at them to perform it for others. So instead of forcing yourself into the one that keeps putting you down, explore the ones that lift you up. The Sesamerot has spoken. There's some interesting things going on in this read. First off, notice that the numbers ascend. I believe it is a sign that it is the worms that we are building towards, which makes a kind of sense if you consider that both fish and birds eat worms. But see, the thing is, for fish, worms are just bait, whereas birds actively seek out worms to eat them. Plus, we have these fish kind of sitting in the bowl, not much is changing for them. But the birds, they can fly free. I believe the message of this draw is look towards the rewards in your future. But, and this is the important part, you need to be an active participant in seeking these rewards. Don't just take what's handed to you. There could be a hook in it. Now, do you love your job because it's helping you develop the goals to get to those worms? Or do you love it because it lets you sit comfortably in your bowl? Meditate on the choices before you. Go with the one that's going to challenge you to spread your wings and hunt your fortune. The Sesamerot has spoken. The white octagon in the problem slot speaks of taking a simple problem and making it more complicated, while the green rhombus in the short-term slot invites you to change your focus and focus on positivity. So think of it this way. Generally speaking, you already are good. You're already worthy. And yet, I bet you could think of at least 3 garbage people that have jobs. So clearly, goodness is not what's getting people jobs. Let's look to the long-term solution slot to see what is getting people jobs. As we can see here in the wet card, Ernie is enjoying a bath, and Bert is cleaning up after Ernie. Bert didn't get the job because of his relative goodness. And while it could be argued that there's a who-you-know kind of aspect to it, Bert also got the job because he's got the tools and he's willing to do it. Focus honestly on your tools, your skills, and your willingness, and don't be afraid to take advantage of any connections you might have. Good luck. The Sesamerot has spoken. The big card in the problem slot tells me that this occupies your thoughts quite a bit. You're noticing some sizable differences between what you were told adulthood would be like and what it actually turned out to be. And you're looking for better ways to reconcile these differences. And I believe that's what the push card in the short-term slot is about. See, the other side of the push card is the pull card, which is the harder way of doing things. You're being called upon to seek and use more effective methods to deal with your burden, which I think is where the 4 beanies comes into play. If 4 Muppets walked into Mr. Hooper's store wearing beanies, you'd assume they were in the same group. And I think the message here is you need to seek out the folks that are having the same life experience you are. An endeavor which becomes far easier if you get a diagnosis. So if you've got the means, get the knowledge that's going to help you reach your goals. Because at the end of the day, the very best thing to know is the truth. The Sesamerot has spoken. Your problem card is the 6 of bird seeds. As a problem card, this often represents you've been given a gift and you're not really sure what to do with it. And of course, is there any greater gift in life? Short-term solution slot is the X-ray, a sign of introspection, looking within, and also a sign of performing tests. So here's something I want you to try. Buy yourself a small pocket-sized notebook and carry it everywhere you go, and make a note in it every single time something brings you joy or fulfills a desire. And I mean everything. No fulfillment too great, no joy too small. See, your joys and your desires can be guidance towards that which you were built for. Which brings us to the long-term solution card, the MOP. Once you have your list of joys and fulfilled desires, take inventory of everything in your life that doesn't fulfill those, and work on a game plan of cleaning them out. What remains should be a map to your desires. The Sesamerot has spoken. So we have an interesting situation here. Bert and Ernie are, of course, the symbol of friendship and support and everything that comes with it. Ernie wants to crack his egg, and Bert is a big fan of that. But why does that place Bert in the problem slot? I believe this speaks to the reason why you still have this fear. Because your fans can sit back and be as supportive as they like, but they don't have any free hands left. So the responsibility of the task of cracking the eggs, it lies pretty much on you. So you look to the future and you see the turmoil being caused by the change in perspective. And you feel like you have to do that alone, even if you got friends there. But see, here's where the support of your friends pay off. There will be many challenges that come after this one. Your friends notice, they understand this. And by occupying the problem slot, they keep you from being pushed into the problem slot. You are not a problem, and they've got your back. The Sesamerot has spoken. In the problem slot is the Count trying to demonstrate the number 9. The thing is, he's called the Count because he likes to count things. And the number 9 sign is only one object. I believe this is a sign that you're coming from this problem from the wrong angle. Now, your solution cards are all low numbers, the short-term solution being the 3 of webs. I believe this is a sign to look for low-cost web solutions. I mean, yeah, soundproofing and nice mics are all well and good if you're trying to get a Spotify deal. But you know what else helps you get a Spotify deal? Several years of experience. And you can get that with a cheap headset mic and free software available on the internet. Use the tools you have available to build your rapport and focus on your showbiz skills. Which brings us to the two of tutus. It's a very simple pun. Two, tutus. Two of tutus. It's a fun little joke, and the person that made it got paid for it. To get to the point where they could get that opportunity, though, they had to put in the time. So, go do that. The Sesamerot has spoken. Unfortunately, the Sesamerot's mind is a blank as well. So, the Sesamerot is phoning a friend. The Sesamerot. Problem card is the green heart. I take this as a sign that your desire is true. Or more to the point, you know there are funny things everywhere, and there's a lot of fish in the sea, but you're having a hard time picking just one. Short-term solution card is the Eight of Things. And as a card, it represents, among other things, strong friendships. I believe this is a sign to seek advice from those you very much trust. And in the long-term solution slot is the Zizzer Zazzer Zuzz. Now, most children's flashcards, when they want to teach you the letter Z, they either pull out a zipper or a zebra or something like that. I mean, even the Sesamerot sticks to foxes, owls, and turtles and stuff. So not only is this answer unexpected, but there's 9 Z's in it, which, makes it pretty much the best answer. So if you really want a great answer that you weren't expecting, ask a friend. The Sesamerot has spoken. The Seven of Porges speaks to the root of the problem. While you recognize the need to maintain access to sustenance, you seek not just to survive, but to thrive. And I think that's what Grover with the guitar here is all about. Now, while music is a form of art, the guitar card serves more as a reminder that you should chase your passions. Do the thing that's going to make you feel like a rock star. Which leaves open the question, what's the Three of Fishes all about? So, hold up, I'm going to draw a clarification card. Okay, so I've just been reminded that the Three of Fish is the fish that swim free. The Four of Fish are the fish that are in their bowls. And incidentally, I also just looked up what entomologist means, so now this card makes more sense too. So yeah, pursuing entomology might be a bit of a swim upstream for you, but apparently that's just how you rock and roll. The Sesamerot has spoken. The Black Pentagon is a problem often speaks of deep mysteries, but it can also represent the information we withhold, especially in the early parts of a relationship. In the short term is the yo-yo card, a reminder that there are ups and downs in relationships. And if you can't accept that, then the yo-yo really doesn't work right. Plus, a yo-yo takes time to get the hang of. It's like they say, if you can't handle me at my knotted string, you don't deserve me at my walk the dog. Which brings us to the cold card, and notice there's an igloo in it. Ernie can avoid being in the cold by getting in the igloo. The igloo here is a sign of intimacy and sharing. Now, getting from here to here obviously requires a lot of trust. He has to trust you, and you have to trust him. Not only do you have to trust him not to act on those feelings, but he has to trust you not to use those feelings against him. Proceed only if you are confident you can get to that point. The Sesamerot has spoken.